Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the Flow Show No Filter. Back for another Monday with a lot of crazy shit to talk about. Oh my God, a lot happened over the weekend. We're going to get into it, but first let me cover my ass. No Diddy, the thoughts, views, and opinions shared on the Flow Show No Filter are for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a professional. I am just good. Sheesh. What is going on? Happy Monday. We got a lot to talk about today, a lot of developments in the fucking Diddy case. Good morning, Angie. Got a lot to talk about in the Diddy case. Trump, Diddy, all kind of stuff going on. Victim number 3 has came out. It came out to say some fight for Diddy's release. C-Tuck, good morning, Lily. To fight for Diddy's release. So we got to talk about that. I can't believe she came out of nowhere. She might be in trouble. She might be in trouble. Let's see. Let's get these comments on the thing, man. First of all, when people were celebrating that Diddy they act like he was found not guilty of all charges, the way people were celebrating. And I knew at the time that, like I would tell people, it's like he still was found guilty of charges. He still wasn't out of the woods. People were celebrating. They were putting baby. They were outside the courthouse dousing each other with baby oil, dancing and singing. And I said to myself, they don't know how this goes. Diddy is not out of the woods until he is out of the woods. And things are getting worse for him, and the people that were celebrating are starting to get a little quiet again. The family, Diddy's mom, people are beginning to worry. They're beginning to worry because time served and all the different things that they thought were a possibility starting to look like the exact opposite. They were all happy because Trump appeared to act like he was going to pardon Diddy. Diddy had just beat the RICO charges. Everything was looking like they were about to beat this thing. And the next thing you know, what do we get the news on? I think it was Friday. There were a few dominoes that dropped. But the first one, as far as this weekend, was Trump saying he ain't pardoning Diddy. Highly unlikely. And what I'm hearing behind the scenes, once Diddy got this news, he went into panic mode. Why did he go into panic mode? Because the new prosecutor thank you, Angie, for the $1.99 super sticker, super chat. She says Gina Tootsie Roll, all in her Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, we know we got to talk about her. And she might be in trouble. We'll get to her in a minute. So, Diddy and his team learned that the new prosecutor, lead prosecutor, what is his name? Clayton, said that they are going for maximum, as much time as the law will allow for Diddy's 2 charges. Because of all the shenanigans that have been going on, they feel like Diddy is getting away with it. And they're going to use whatever they can as far as the charges that they do have him on. They want maximum time. And many experts believe they're going to get it. So Diddy's been scrambling, panicking. His legal team is scrambling and panicking. And what do they end up doing? This is a fucking movie, y'all. This is a fucking movie. Do you understand? They are so desperate. We're going to read a couple letters. We're going to read the first, let's read, before we get to victim number 3, let's read this desperation letter. Let's read this desperation letter from the from the defense team. You got to check this shit out. Hold up 1 second. Let's pull this up. The defense team, I think Diddy cussed everybody out. Once they found out he probably paid money, because word on the street is his team didn't pay money directly to Trump, but they actually paid money to people around Trump to get Trump's word that he would pardon him, kind of paying a middleman, and it didn't work out. But check out this letter Diddy's team filed after they found out that they weren't getting a pardon. Contrary to the government's contention, this is a letter to the judge. Contrary to the government's contention, living conditions at the MDC remain inhumane, and the conditions seem unlikely to improve due to the aggressive government budget cuts. MDC routinely serves food that is expired and infested with maggots. The maggot-infested food captured in that photo is unfortunately not an uncommon experience. Lockdowns also remain common, despite the government's claims. For example, the MDC sent a notice to detainees that they would be on lockdown from February 22nd, 2025 to at least March 3rd, 2025, because multiple inmates became disruptive and utilized weapons during an incident. This was just a few months ago. They go on to say, now they're complaining about the conditions. In order to get Diddy, let's get somebody to this beach. In order to get Diddy out of there, they're complaining about the conditions, saying it's maggots, talking about the food. Now, true, we have heard that there is an issue with the food and stuff like that, but it's prison. And Diddy has been there for however long, a year and a half, however long he's been there, he's been okay so far. I'm sure he gets treated a lot better than 99.999% of the other inmates. But they believe Diddy should be released because of the inhumane condition. Then they go on to say, the government argues that the unchecked violence relied upon does not serve as a valid basis for finding of exceptional circumstances because the violence occurred over a year ago. Unfortunately, this shows the government's ignorance with respect to inmate violence at the MDC. On March 6, 2025, which is my birthday, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York announced criminal charges against 25 defendants in 12 separate cases related to violence and contraband smuggling at the MDC, all of which occurred recently between April and to the present, April 2025. These include charges against 15 inmates for violent assaults against other inmates from May 2024 to present. A former correctional officer for attempting to smuggle contraband into the facility on January 21st, 2025, an inmate for orchestrating a contraband smuggling operation between April to June, and an inmate for smuggling ceramic into the facility on October 12th. An inmate for possession of contraband and continuing to commit fraud while detained at MDC, and gang association for attempting to smuggle a large package of contraband, including 18 cell phones and marijuana to other gang members incarcerated in MDC. Additionally, upon information and belief, just 2 Fridays ago, an inmate in the floor above Combs was stabbed. Now they're talking about stabbings. They're talking about food. They're talking about contraband. They are panicking and trying to do whatever to get Diddy out of there. I believe the judge is going to rule today. This is huge. This shows to everybody out there that's been celebrating and acting like I was so confused because I was like, y'all Diddy supporters are celebrating as if he beat all the charges. True, he beat Rico, but he was still found guilty. And it don't seem like Diddy is celebrating. I was telling folks, I'm like, it's easy for y'all to celebrate. Y'all act like he ain't in prison right now, still to this day. Still seeing how much longer he gonna be in that bitch. It's easy for y'all on the outside who are free to be celebrating like it's a victory. Y'all are free. Diddy don't sound like he's celebrating. And that's been my point. They have moved the goalpost so far back just because he didn't get whole ass life. They celebrating as if this thing is completely over with. And that was a mistake. The feds don't like nobody making them look stupid. And I'm sure, I think Diddy's son was doing push-ups outside the courtroom. They were just making a mockery of the whole system. The only one who stayed reserved and respectful and understood that this thing wasn't over yet was Diddy's mom. Mama Diddy, even to this day right now, has been quiet and understands that this thing ain't over yet. They are looking for the maximum time. And they might, and they have a good chance of getting it. And you know who knows that? Diddy and Diddy's legal team. If they were going to do time served or anything of that nature, they would have probably just let him out. This judge is holding Diddy for a reason, and his team knows it. Now they're trying to complain. These have been the same conditions that so what? They're going to let the whole MDC out now? Because of these conditions, are they going to let the whole MDC out now? Or are you saying they should just let Diddy out for special? He is, newsflash, Diddy is not getting any special treatment. This prosecution team led by this Clayton guy, who is actually Trump's guy, they are not fucking around with Diddy. They want, I think they're looking at 10 years. 5 would be the absolute minimum. But what I'm hearing is they're looking at anywhere from 8 to 10 years minimum. This is why you see Diddy coming out the woodwork, making his legal team send all kind of crazy motions, following up motions. Bail has still not been denied or accepted or approved. Hopefully, we get a word on bail today. I can't confirm if we're gonna get a word today, but hopefully we get a word on Diddy's bail today. I think everybody pretty much knows it's gonna be denied. They're saying Diddy is a flight risk. They're saying Diddy is violent. And so for many reasons, Diddy's ass ain't going nowhere. But then that leads us to the next desperate attempt. Now, this attempt can get Diddy in more trouble and can get victim number 3 in more trouble. Y'all all remember victim number 3. The whole internet knew that victim number 3 was Gina Hunt. Gina Hunt was Diddy's girlfriend or fling or what, I don't know what they were. But she was the original victim in the case. Gina, on many occasions, said that Diddy beat her, stomped her stomach, beat her head, was violent towards her. Even there were even rumors that he caused her to have a miscarriage or forced her to abort a baby. It's a lot of different stories. The bottom line is he was stomping her in her stomach, beating her, and very violent towards her. Also did the same things that he was convicted of doing to Jane and Cassie. Gina Hung was also in the same boat. Gina herself was on Tasha K and did an interview, and she went into detail about these beatings, about this mistreatment, about this sexual assault, about all of this crazy stuff that Diddy did to her. Then she ended up being a victim in this case. But then Gina disappeared. Gina disappeared. Y'all remember all through the case, we were wondering where the hell was victim number 3. She gave statements to the feds about these beatings and about this abuse, and then backed out. People said, did he pay her off? Did he threaten her? Is her life in danger? Is he taking care of her? Where did the back off come? Why did she all of a sudden back out? Then she never resurfaced the entire case. Even her lawyer disappeared. Couldn't find her, couldn't find the lawyer. Then after the whole case is over with, Tim Sleazy, aka TMZ, conveniently finds her walking out of a grocery store or some type of store in the parking lot, and asks her what she thinks about the trial. She says she's not worried for her safety. That Diddy isn't violent or whatever. Her whole tune fucking changes. And the world was wondering, where did this switch up come from? How could you be this terrified, getting your ass beat victim 1 minute, and the next minute, oh, he's no threat. I'm not worried. What? And then that brings us all the way up into what happened over the weekend. And what happened over the weekend is what I'm saying could get Gina in trouble, Diddy in trouble. This crazy ass case, this crazy ass story ain't seen its craziest days yet. This shit about to get crazy. Mark my fucking words. Come on, son. Mark my fucking words. Speaking of son, King got the job. I'm about to read this letter that's about to get Gina ass in trouble and Diddy in trouble. Gina wrote a letter to the court begging for Diddy's release, and not only begging for his release, but talking about how great of a person Diddy is, how great of a father he is. But King got the job. If you remember on Friday, I told you King had a job interview as my son. And they hired him. He got his offer letter. He is officially a grown-ass man. 18 years old on his way. But anyway, thank you for everybody that sent out positive vibes and prayers for King. It worked. So I'm going to start using y'all prayers a little more because y'all got some good prayers. Y'all prayers work. King had that job Friday. So anyway, as we dip back into the sun, let the sun shine in. So anyway, this letter can get Gina and Diddy in trouble. And I'm going to tell you why after I read it. This is from Gina, victim number 3, the one who said Diddy beat her ass and stomped her stomach and punched her in the head and all kind of stuff. Thank you, Munoz, for the super sticker, $9.99. I greatly appreciate it. You know I'm about to eat good with that. $10. Thank you so much, Munoz. So let's get into this. Dear Your Honor, my name is Virginia Hunt, and I'm writing as the person identified as victim number 3 in this case. I have known Sean Combs for many years in both a personal and professional capacity. From that experience, I have seen him primarily as a father, a family man, and a businessman, roles that he has always strived to uphold. To provide this letter to share my observations about his character and to respectfully request that the court permit his release on bond while the case proceeds. I acknowledge and respect that Mr. Combs stands accused and that the court must weigh public safety and the integrity of the legal process. At the same time, I believe it's important for the court to have a full picture of who he is beyond the allegations. Our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs and mistakes were made, but he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Over the years that followed, he made visible efforts to become a better person and to address the harm he had caused. By the time our relationship ended, he embodied an energy of love. Mind you, she's talking about Diddy. I am telling y'all, they think this is helping. This ain't helping. This ain't helping Diddy. This is hurting Diddy because the judge is not stupid. Let's be honest. You may not like some judges. You may like some judges. But one thing I can say about judges, they are not dumb. And for a victim who said that the guy that Diddy did the most terriblest things, and I don't even know if terriblest is a word, but it makes sense in this sense. Diddy did the most terriblest thing to this girl. And then all of a sudden you disappear on the entire case. You think you're going to be able to play with the courts like this? This just shows that Diddy has not learned his lesson and is not going to stop until he is in prison for a long ass time. This ain't traffic court, motherfucker. Anybody, thank you to the AI agent. We got AI agents donating to the cause. $4.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to eat good with the $4.99. This ain't traffic court. This ain't your association meeting. This ain't nothing to play with. Do you not think that the judge is going to look at this and be like, this has been some obvious witness tampering? The last thing you want to do is insult a judge's intelligence. This ain't a PTA meeting. This is federal court. This is as big as it gets. And you got the same victim who is on record saying that you kicked her ass plenty of times. And she gave sworn testimony and gave words and an account of what was going on to the federal prosecutors. And it just disappeared like this was a speeding ticket. And not only does she disappear out of nowhere, as if this is just nothing, this is one of the biggest cases in history, a federal case at that. Then you have the audacity to have this same victim write to the judge. Oh, Diddy. You got some nerve. They about to investigate the fuck out of Gina and Diddy because they are playing in the court space right now. You disappear on the face. Let me put my notes down for a minute. I don't need no notes for this part. You disappear on the feds on a huge case and make them look stupid. Could be part of the reason why they didn't get the sex trafficking count. Who knows? But you disappear on the feds. The feds. And not only that's bad enough, but then you got the audacity and the nerve orchestrated by Diddy, no allegedly, Allegedly. But then you reappear with a letter talking about he exuded love. He was a beacon of love or whatever the fuck. Y'all, watch how this shit goes. I'm going to continue reading that letter, but I had to take a fucking break. I got time for a Snickers bar right now to think about this shit. Diddy has a problem. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Because I know Diddy, I know it's tight. I've been around those fuckers a lot in the industry. I ain't going to name no names because every time I name names, they get mad. I don't feel like nobody calling me on my fucking cell phone or DMing me on Instagram like, man, I don't know why you did that. He don't appreciate. I don't got time for that shit today. I'm feeling good on this fucking Monday. I'm not gonna ruin it by celebrities who I know who get mad every time I bring their name up. I'm gonna let them live today. But what happened was, see, a person like Diddy, they think they want to force the issue. And the fact that he is taking care of Gina, either got her scared, either taking care of her, I guarantee you she did not want to send this letter in. I guarantee you Diddy's attorneys didn't even want to send this letter to the judge. There is one egomaniac who wanted to send this letter, and it was Diddy, and he the one writing all the checks for everybody. And he pressed the issue, and he pressed the issue, and he probably blew up Gina's phone. If you remember the little dirty money girl that he had speak on his behalf, if you remember, it was found out that he called her phone hundreds of times. He blew up Gina's phone, and he wouldn't stop until she would write this fucking letter and send it into the court. He didn't give a fuck how it looked. This is going to turn out all bad. But let's finish with this letter. Our relationship. I acknowledge and respect that Mr. Combs stands accused and that the court must weigh public safety. And the integrity of the legal process. At the same time, I believe it is important for the court to have a full picture of who he is beyond the allegations. Our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. Let's stop right there. I hate when people try to say our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. Stop that. Like many. Don't compare your shit. There are domestic violence cases. But the great majority of all relationships are fucking normal. Everybody's not running around beating everybody's ass and having freak offs. I hate when people with these super duper toxic ass beating freak off sex worker field relationships try to frame it talking about our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. No. Don't put your relationship in like many. The fact that yours was not perfect, it wasn't nowhere near perfect. It was as close to imperfect and toxic as you can get. It was literally, it wasn't even a relationship. So you already framing it. I don't like you framing it. I have relationships with people that don't work. I have relationships with women that don't work. We weren't beating each other's ass and having freak offs. We just didn't get along. We just didn't see eye to eye. We just had a few different disagreements, and it turned out, hey, you better go on your way, I'm better going mine. That's like many relationships. Beating ass and having freak offs to the point where it's fucking a federal indictment. That's a whole nother thing. Don't frame your shit like all of us is running around here beating ass and having freak offs. I hate when people do that. You already lost me when you start off with your shit was so bad, y'all had to go to fucking federal court behind it. Don't tell me no like many, it wasn't perfect. You think? You think it wasn't perfect? We don't think it was anywhere near perfect. We don't even consider it a real relationship. Anyway, our relationship, like many, was not always perfect. We experienced ups and downs and mistakes were made, but he was willing to acknowledge his mistakes and make better decisions in the future. Over the years that followed, he made visible efforts to become a better person and to address the harm he had caused. By the time our relationship ended, he embodied an energy of love, patience, and gentleness that was markedly different from his past behavior. To my knowledge, he has not been violent for many years, and he has been committed to being a father first. Then why in the fuck did you go to federal prosecutors trying to indict this man? If what you're saying here is true, Gina, I can't believe this shit. Money talk and bullshit walks, a marathon. I'm going to say that again. Money talks and bullshit walks, a marathon. This is money talking. This is intimidation talking. And this is another charge talking. You think the court gonna let y'all play this game in front of the whole world? Let me continue. I am writing because I do not view Mr. Combs as a danger to me or to the community. This is his first criminal case. Throughout the investigation and proceeding, he has been cooperative, respectful, and compliant. So you gonna admit to the court that you've been watching the case, knowing everybody was looking for you, you've been watching it so closely, you know that in your mind, Diddy has been cooperative, respectful, and compliant. So you telling the court, I disappeared on the court, but I know y'all was looking for me and I never responded, but I was watching the case and I was keeping a close eye on the case because I know that Diddy was cooperative, respectful, and compliant. Well, he was also nodding at the jury and making head gestures and passing around sticky notes and talking to jurors and had to be reprimanded and damn near kicked out of the fucking courtroom. But wait, who am I? I'm just a guy with a headband and no shirt on. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Let's continue. Gina, blink twice if you're okay. Like this. Blink twice if you are okay. You not blinking. He has substantial ties to his family and community, including children who depend on him for emotional and financial support. Granting him bond would allow him to continue caring for his family and fulfilling his responsibilities while still subject to the court's supervision. Man, this letter will make you Earl. Gina's gonna get caught up in some witness tampering, some perjury, some lying to the court. She is Diddy, and Diddy don't care. Diddy don't give a damn that he is putting Gina's freedom at risk. Gina, do you realize I'm talking to Gina right now. Because Gina watches everything that's going on according to this letter. And so if Gina watches everything that's going on, I know she watched the Flow Show No Filter or Flow on my social media. She knows what the fuck going on with me. Flow Show No Filter every day at 8:30 a.m. on Apple and Spotify 24/7. But if you want to catch us live, it's 8:30 a.m. on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. And on Facebook, you can catch us too. But anyway, Gina, do you realize for Diddy to have you and coerce you into writing this letter, no allegedly, do you realize even right now, in making you do this, he don't give a fuck about you. He don't care if you end up locked up just like his ass. And you going with it. Unfucking-leavable. Diddy knows no bounds. He has pushed this girl into not only disappearing, but reappearing and writing a letter like all that other shit I was saying. I made that shit up, y'all. This guy is the beacon of light of love. He is the best thing to ever happen to this world. He is a light of love. He will not harm anybody. What the? This girl was crying, talking about Diddy beat her ass. This girl was crying, talking about Diddy made her abort her kids, stumped on her stomach. She even went forward and was involved in the case. Victim number 3 told her whole story to the federal prosecutors and then disappeared and then reappeared to write a validation letter validating why Diddy should be released. If you think the feds are going to go for this shit, if you think the feds are going to let Gina I don't care if you Gina, victim number 3, I don't care if you Gina off Mark. I don't care what Gina we talking about. The federal court system is not about to let Gina and Mohawk Diddy play in their goddamn face. I don't care who you think you are. If you think the feds is about to let you Gina, where are your parents at? Where are your friends at. Gina, you are tripping. And then Gina goes on to say, I want to assure the court that if released, I believe Mr. Combs will adhere to all conditions imposed and will not jeopardize his freedom or the well-being of his family. Y'all know what this letter sounds like? It sounds like, y'all know what this, I'm making a hand gesture, and for those that can't see this, right now I have the hand gesture of like when you point a gun at your head. So this is for my audio people. Right now I have my finger pointing at my head as if it's a gun. You know how you do that, right? This letter seems like there is a gun pointed at her head, and she has to write the best letter she can to get Diddy out, no matter if it's true or not. So now, as I read this letter, just imagine that there is a firearm pointed at my head. This is what it feels like. This is what I see when I'm reading this letter. I am Gina. I want to assure the court that if released, I believe Mr. Combs will adhere to all conditions imposed and will not jeopardize his freedom or the well-being of his family. Allowing him to be at home will also support the healing process for all involved. I respectfully ask that you consider these factors when deciding his eligibility for release. Thank you for your time and consideration. Respectfully, Gina Hunt. Now, can you take the pistol away from my fucking head now? I did it. That's what I'm visualizing. But one part of that last part, let's go back to. Because the kitchen, we normally don't open the kitchen on Monday, but the kitchen is open today. Damn it. Flo is cooking today. The kitchen is open. Can you smell that? That's bacon and eggs. Imagine the smell of bacon and eggs. I'm cooking. I can't, there's only a few things I can cook now. Bacon and eggs is two of them. Allowing him to be at home will also support the healing process for all involved. Huh? How the fuck Diddy being home is healing for all involved? Unless when you say all involved, y'all are not giving a fuck about the victims. Which, Gina, you just was a victim, according to your own mouth. Now, all of a sudden, who gives a fuck about the victims, huh? So Diddy being at home is gonna heal the victims. Or when you say all involved, are the victims not involved? So I'm a victim, and Diddy going home is gonna heal me. Nah, because that's not who you're talking about. This letter never mentioned, never acknowledged any of the victims. And that is your first mistake, and that is your problem. This motherfucker said Diddy going home is going to be a big step in the process of healing for all involved. Man, I would love to be a fly on the freaking wall when the judge read this letter. I would be a fly on the fucking wall. You see my hands, this is me being a fly on the fucking wall. I would give anything to be a fly on the wall when the judge read this crap. I think the judge read this and said, "Oh, I'm about to fry these motherfuckers." I think the judge, as he was reading this, said, "I am about to cook these motherfuckers like Flo do on the Flo show, no filter." They are acting like this judge is a clown. Imagine y'all was the judge. How would y'all feel? Wouldn't y'all feel like y'all getting played to be dumb? I could not believe. Listen, Mohawk Diddy has done a lot of dumb shit. And he's done a lot of things in this case that make you say, this motherfucker think he can do anything. But this might top them all. They are about, listen, all they have to do is figure out, I'm going to tell you, now I don't know if they're going to go this far. But at this point, all they have to do is put the full court press on Gina. Because at this point, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that there's been some type of witness tampering going on. Can we agree? You don't have to be a genius, or you don't even have to be a person that's good at reading tea leaves to know that there's been some witness tampering going on, right? All they have to do now is trump up some charges, and no pun intended, some charges on Gina for either, lying to feds, whatever. I looked it up. There are a few charges that she could be facing, but all they have to do is get her on some charges, throw some time at her way, and they can force her to expose whatever Diddy been doing, or however he been getting messages to her, or whatever been going on. And Diddy gonna be looking at another obstruction of justice charge and be looking at more time. If they do that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do that at this point. I got my popcorn. I want to hear what the judge is going to respond. I don't know if we've ever even seen anything like this. I don't know if there's ever been a case in history where the victim disappeared and then reappeared to speak on the defendant's side. Come on, son. I'm in the light today. This judge is not about to play with Gina. Like I said before, this ain't a movie, although it could be. This is real life. I cannot believe, well, I shouldn't say I can believe that Diddy would have this audacity, but it just speaks to how desperate Diddy is and his legal team to try to get him out. To have a victim who disappeared only to reappear to send a letter to the judge. Y'all check this out. You know what this is like? This is like a worker who don't show up on a crucial day, do not show up for their job. And then They no call, no show. But then one of the other employees is getting in trouble, and then that worker comes up and shows up to speak on their behalf. And you'll be looking like, motherfucker, where you come from? Your ass ain't even show up. So check this out. I'm about to frame this once and for all. You are the judge. This is your court case. One of your victims who was a crucial part of your case tells you all this shit that happened to her, agrees to be on the case, and is put in the indictment, and then no call, no shows you right in your fucking face. For the entire 8 weeks, nowhere to be found. Doesn't even respond to say, hey, I'm going to just plead the fifth. Doesn't even respect the court enough to say, okay, well, at this time, I'm just going to plead the fifth. Does not even respect the judge or the court enough to even say, hey, I'm not showing up, or not even saying I'm not showing up, but at least to show up and plead the fifth, something. You disrespect this judge and disrespect this court to the point you don't even fucking show up. Like I said, like this is a college course or some shit that you can just not show up for with no repercussion. But not only that, when the defendant is found guilty of prostitution by transportation or whatever the fuck, something that carries 10 years per charge, found guilty on 2 charges, your ass, the same one who disappeared, comes back, and the first time the judge hears from you, from the time you were supposed to be a victim, the first and only time the judge hears from you is from a letter telling his ass what he should do. Diddy ain't gonna be happy until he gonna make sure he's serving a long time. They are playing with the feds, and the feds ain't the one to be played with. This judge is gonna tell Diddy and Gina to kick so many rocks in a pair of flip-flops with no socks. I can't wait. Fucking believable. You know, somebody had the nerve on a side note to say the other show, I cooked her, but to say something like, I wanted to listen, but there was too much swearing. I said, how else I'm gonna tell you that I don't give a fuck what you think? This is the Flow Show, no filter. It ain't my fault you can't read. This for grown-ups. This ain't CNN. I'm gonna drop some F-bombs. I'm gonna say shit. If you got a problem with it, take your ass on. People kill me, and that's the problem today. People are so uncomfortable in their own skin, they want you to be uncomfortable in yours. Well, motherfucker, that ain't this. This ain't that. I came in this game being me, and I'm gonna leave this game being me. I love it. You need to get like it. What if I told you? Anyway, Trump says no on the pardon. Gina comes out the woodwork with a letter to the. I hate to keep beating a dead horse because the horse is dead already. But today we're going to beat a dead horse. Only the diddler would have the audacity to witness tamper, no allegedly, and had that same fucking witness come speak on his behalf after she disappeared. I'm done. I'm done. Y'all don't feel. Hey, look, y'all don't feel. If you want to subscribe, I'm putting the link in the chat. If you want to keep this podcast, going, the subscription link is in the thing. I'm giving up too much sauce. Y'all need to subscribe. If you want to be involved in the meet and greet weekend, which will be the weekend of the sentencing, we had a meet and greet. Put meet and greet in the comments when you watch this video, and I will send you the link. It's a 2-day event, but some people can only make it to 1 day. So you can get a 1-day pass for $75. 1 day you can either go Saturday to the meet and greet, and the meetup will be karaoke and I'm meeting everybody and question and answer, or you can do the Sunday part of the event for $75, where we take the live in studio, the Flow Show No Filter. We're gonna take our reaction to the sentencing that will have just taken place on Friday. If you want to be a part of this, like I said, 2 days. The part of the whole 2-day weekend in Cleveland is $150. If you can only do 1 day, because some people say they can only do 1 day, they only be available 1 day. You can either do the meet and greet and the question and answer on Saturday, or you can do the live taping of the Flow Show and be in the studio and give your take and everything for $75. Put meet and greet in the comments, or reach out to me on my social media accounts, Flow Daddy Flow on Instagram, Harold White Flow Daddy Flow on Facebook, Flow Daddy Flow Backup on TikTok, the Flow Show No Filter. Other than that, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe. It's too much going on right now. Make sure y'all support the podcast. Let's get to our mouths in the chat, because I'm out. I can't wait to see how this turns out. This has been another Flow Show No Filter. Thank you to everybody in the chat, the Breakfast Crew, the Wake and Break Crew, the Flow Show fam. Let's get the I'm outs in the chat. And as always, hey, y'all, I'm going to say it again. We need to step up and support our independent journalists more. I don't think we're doing a good job of it right now in general. I'm talking to all the people who do what I do, and I'm even looking at my video podcast. The audio podcast is doing this thing, but the YouTube, we need to step up more for the YouTube, y'all, because it needs more support. Other than that, I'm out. Let's get to our mouths in it. Thank you, Lily. See y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. Gina, you tripping. As always, I love y'all, but I'm